Hi and welcome to another GC Mysteries video, where this time we are looking into the mysterious vanishing of Billy Smolinski. So tonight in this video I am looking into the disappearance of William Smolinski. Now his nickname is Billy, and he was 31 years old when he disappeared, which was on the 24th of August 2004 in Waterbury, Connecticut. Now, his status is still missing. Now, the only thing that anyone was told by Billy Smolinski was that he was headed up north for a few days. That is what he said to a neighbour, but he hasn't been seen or heard from since. Now, obviously, you can see the pictures, but I'll do my normal appearance and things like that. So he is a Caucasian male born on the 14th of January 1973 with brown hair and blue eyes. He stands 6 feet tall and weighed approximately 200 pounds at the time of his disappearance. Now, he has a tattoo of a blue cross with the name Pruitt on his left forearm, and a tattoo of a blue cross with an orange outline on his right shoulder. He also has his left ear pierced with a small diamond. Now, the police have been looking for him up until now, though, to no avail. Now, in the investigation in 2006, police got a tip about a man named Sean Carpiuk. Sorry, I may be pronouncing that wrong, but it is a weird spelling, a weird last name. Anyway, he is the son of a woman called Madeline Gleason. Now, they reported hearing that Carpiuk, I'll just call him Sean to stop any mispronunciations. So they reported hearing that Sean had killed Billy Smolinski because he had beaten up Madeline Gleason. He claimed that Sean and another man named Jason Lee then buried Smolinski at one of the sites Sean had been working at. He stated that they dug a hole and buried Billy in a spot that concrete was poured over. Unfortunately, Sean died from a drug overdose in 2005. Now, that was before police had a chance to question him. Now, I may be a little going a little bit below the bar. Some of you may think that, some of you may not. But if it is indeed true that Sean killed Billy Smolinski and then buried him at a site he had been working at, and that concrete was poured over? Is it plausible that Sean maybe died from an intended drug overdose in 2005 before police had a chance to question him, to lock him up? Now, I'm just sufficing there, and that's a little bit of speculation on my side. I'm just questioning the character, but there's only one man can really tell us that, and that would have been Sean, and he's no longer here. But it does say that a few years later, detectives received another tip involving Sean. In 2008, a man named Chad Hansen told investigators that Smolinski had been murdered and that he knew where the body was. He claimed his friend Sean had beaten Smolinski to death and that he helped him bury the remains. Now, based on Hansen's tip, authorities conducted searches in Seymour, Connecticut in 2008, Naugatuck State Forest in 2010, and in Oxford, Connecticut in 2011. Now, those searches didn't turn up any leads, and in 2011 Hansen was charged with interfering with police and making a false statement. Now, authorities believe he deliberately lied to them in order to mislead the investigation. Now, the first tip that police received, we're going back to 2006 now, there was no mention of this man, Chad Hansen. The only other man mentioned other than Sean was a man named Jason Lee. So Chad Hansen was never even there, according to the first tip. It sounds to me like he just wanted to either be in the centre of that investigation or directing it, which for a while, a good few years, he did direct that investigation. Now, in 2013, Hansen pleaded guilty to one charge of making a false statement and was sentenced to 4.5 years in prison. Now, both Hansen and Sean are considered persons of interest in Billy's case. However, Sean is unfortunately not here to tell us the truth. He may still be considered a person of interest, but there's nothing that the police can do about him now. Now, witnesses told police that Hansen had bragged about killing Smolinski with Sean and said his body would never be found. Now, again, Hansen's name was never mentioned in the 2006 tip, although it is viable that that Chad Hansen could have been using an alias of Jason Lee. It's viable, but not confirmed. Now, the Smolinski family put up flyers about Billy's case in Waterbury and the surrounding towns after his disappearance, and in 2005, this is a weird turn in any missing case I've heard, but in 2005, Billy's mother, Jan Smolinski, was arrested for putting up posters at a school where Gleason dropped off and picked up kids. Now, if, and I'm just sufficing again here, but if Billy Smolinski and Madeline Gleason did have issues, that is between them. Jan Smolinski was only doing what Madeline would be doing if it was one of her children. And basically, if the shoe was on the other foot, Madeline would have been doing exactly what Jan Smolinski was doing. So, you know, if her and Billy did have problems, that's between them. But Billy's mother, Jan Smolinski, being arrested for putting up missing posters at a school, and in fact the police officers going ahead with that arrest, arresting her, booking her in, falls well below the bar, and in my opinion is not what police should be doing. Police should have been helping Jan in her search for her son, not arresting her for petty things like that. And it gets better, because in 2006, Madeline Gleason sued Billy's family for alleged harassment and defamation of character, claiming that they had falsely accused her of being involved in the case. Alleged harassment, I don't see, although, you know, you can't see the court cases and the evidence and things like that, but harassment, I don't see why Billy's family would go through all of that and stoop that low to do that in the first place. And secondly, defamation of character. As far as I'm concerned, Jan Smolinski had every right to talk bad about Madeline Gleason, because she had Jan arrested for putting up missing posters at a school where she dropped off and picked up kids. So Jan was well in her right to talk bad about Madeline, and the harassment I do not believe at all. But the court the judge that first was before awarded $52,000 in damages to Madeline Gleason. However, in 2015, the state Supreme Court overturned the trial court's decision on First Amendment grounds. The case was remanded to the trial court and later withdrawn by the plaintiff. Which I am fairly confident, even in layman's English, that means that was dropped and that there was no money exchanged. At least it doesn't say so here. Now, obviously Billy's whereabouts right now, and actually right since 2004, have been unknown, but his family fears for his safety to this day, as it's uncharacteristic of him to leave without being in contact with them. Now, authorities initially suspected Billy left home on his own, but they now suspect foul play. Now, both Chad Hansen and Sean remain persons of interest in Billy's disappearance, and his case remains unsolved. However, in 2009, federal legislation known as Billy's Law was introduced in Congress to help streamline the missing persons databases available to law enforcement. Billy's Law is intended to help ensure that other families won't experience the delays and frustrations that the Smolinskis have gone through in their search for their missing son. And once again, he was only 31 when he went missing, but unfortunately his family's fears will not stop, and thoughts will not change until he is found and brought back home. So if you do have any ideas where he could be, who he was friends with, or who could have done something sinister to Billy, then it will be the Connecticut State Police or the Waterbury Police Department that you need to get in touch with, so that they have heard from you and of course can get what you know. But with all hope that he is still alive, it is still well over a decade since he was last seen or heard from. And of course this means that his appearance could be completely different now than it was back then. But just to try and help his family out. If you do know anything, please let the police department know, and if you want to learn anything more, you can just search his name. Thank you for watching this GC Mysteries video. If you liked it, please like, subscribe and click the notification bell. If you can, support us on Patreon at patreon.com/GC Mysteries. See us on Facebook and Twitter, GC Mysteries, and bye bye for now.